Hello, Progress fam. Today I want to talk to you about one of my favorite business topics because it's something that is so often misused and it creates results for you and causing you want to burn it all down. And so today I want to talk to you about intentional discounts versus scarcity discounts and using discounting as a business strategy rather than sabotage, because that's oftentimes what it actually ends up being. And so what happens is that discounts are often a necessary tool that's going to attract people. It's going to attract people regardless. But not all the discounts that you offer or the promotions or the sales events that you offer, they're not all serving your business in the same way. So while some discount strategies are going to help you to drive that long-term profitability, because that's what we're all about, right? Is those peace of mind profits and scalability, the right ones will help you to drive customer or client or patient loyalty, depending on whatever you call your people. But other times it really stems from desperation, and what it ends up doing is it erodes your margins every step of the way, which is your profitability, right? So I want to help you to understand the difference between intentional discounts and scarcity based discounts. And I will never not want every piece of your business to be dripping with intentionality. And this is one of those where we're gonna address it today, right? Because one is the difference between sustainable growth with predictable profits, and then the other one is going to have you wanting to pull your hair out and burn it to the ground if you're not already there. And so hopefully you're not, but if you are, then this is going to be directly for you. So when it comes to scarcity discounts, these are the ones that they're often reactionary. They're driven by fear. You're scared of losing a sale. You're fearing competition, which is something we don't want that mindset here, right? There's this fear of finances or instability, or you're not going to be able to pay bills if you don't get these people to buy from you. But really what happens is that when your business discounts its services or its products out of panic rather than your strategy, then you actually create this downward spiral of undervaluation and diminishing profitability. And a lot of times this is why when you aren't proactively looking at your numbers, your key performance indicators, and you're looking at these, and our accounting team actually, when they are working on people's financials and they're looking at their income statement, they break out discounts and gross revenue separately, because so many people don't realize how much of their business they're actually giving away through discounts, promotions, credits, and things of that nature, because they think they're being nice to people. And they start seeing like, oh my gosh, how much it's costing me. Like, I wouldn't have to raise my prices if I would just stop discounting people, right? And so the worst part of what actually happens is you actually start to attract a lot of misaligned clients and customers that don't really care about life-changing transformations. They are not committed. They don't care about strategy. They're looking for cheap and easy. And so one of the thoughts that was a major mind shift for me years ago was around discounting or just underpricing altogether was this, is that we worry about people not paying if our prices are too high, but there's people out there that are not paying you because your prices look too low to get the quality that they want. And so I want you to, if you need to stop and rewind this, like do that now. But think about who is not buying from you because you look like you do not have the quality that they want. So slinging discounts in the wrong way is actually screaming low quality, not worth it, cheap and easy. And there's people out there that understand that there is oftentimes like, one of the things that helps me to really understand how we help people is that, yes, we are paid for our ability to help to develop strategy and our knowledge. But what we're really getting paid for is to give people back their time, because we shortcut their pathway to success because we know what they need to focus on, whereas this is what they're scrambling around. And so when I made that connection, it helped me to see the value of what we do so much more. And so when you're throwing discounts out there with no strategy, it's really just going to position you to where you look desperate. And the thing is that your customers and clients, they're not consciously thinking that, oh, this person looks desperate while they're in their moment of desperation and take advantage of them. They're subconsciously thinking it, and then they're taking advantage of it. And the people that do this to other people, like, do this to people that they're in relationships with or anything else out in the world, maybe they're people that, milk the clock at work. These are going to be the kind of people that are going to take advantage of your one-time discount. And I have another friend that I love the mindset that she has about it, as well as that she doesn't do discounts. And this is something that, especially in the industry that she is in, there is a lot of competition for lack of a better term, right? But she's genuinely not worried about her quote unquote competition, because the thing is that she's so clear on what makes them different. And she also thinks that if she ever was to put out discounts or promotions out there, especially the ones where it's like new clients or new patients only, right? That it actually tells your existing customer base or client base that they're not as valuable. And I like her mindset around that. And it's so cool because she's grown a really profitable business with with not taking advantage of having a bunch of Facebook ads out there that are promoting these one-time deals just to get people in the door. And the proof is in the pudding. And so some other business issues that if you're not already running into this, you absolutely will run into some of these issues because of scarcity driven pricing or lack of intention around using discounts. If you're discounting just so that you can fill up your calendar, fill up your workload, fill up your team's books, whatever that looks like, then you're going to overload your schedule and it's going to reduce your profit margins at the same time. So it's not going to have that intended effect of making you more money just because you have a jam-packed schedule. And then if you're pricing based on what feels fair, then this really just leads to you undervaluing your expertise and attracting price-sensitive people that are more concerned about how much they're spending than what the value that they're getting. And so they're not ever really going to truly see the value in your offerings unless you have the opportunity to shift their mindset around that. And this is also why there is an element of intuition that comes into your business and leading it, growing it, strategy, and things of that nature. And this is why I love to help people understand what their method of getting people results in. I don't care what industry you're in. We want to help you to be able to see yourself why you are so special and unique so that you're not just building a business that's based off of your expertise, right? We want to almost systematize your uniqueness. And so when we're going through that, yeah, there's an element of it where we want to understand, like, what are you actually passionate about? What are the brand beliefs around your business, right? So there's that where that part makes sense. But we also have to come together with the data part of it and understanding that, okay, what is the minimum that we can price this thing, this treatment, this service, this product at in order to make a profit without taking into account any of the value that we provide above and beyond this thing that we sell. And so this is where, when you hear people talk about the woo and the work, this is what they're talking about. This is where bringing in like what you're passionate about with data and profit informed strategy, right, comes together. And so you can't just price things based on what feels fair because you're going to put yourself into a hole. And then when you're competing on price rather than value, you are just racing to the bottom. You're turning your business into a commodity instead of a premium service provider or a premium product provider. And it really makes it hard. Well, actually, it makes that impossible to sustain profitably and for the long term. And so that will not last you forever. It might get you to a certain place, but again, it goes back to what got you here will not get you there. So if you find yourself just repeatedly discounting just so that you can get business, and the real problem is not your pricing. It comes back to your positioning. When you know your numbers and you've went through, this is why when we work with a lot of our clients, if we can already tell like profitability is a big issue, maybe it's not so much that they can't grow, it's that they're not even priced for profit in the first place, right? They're growing, they have more clients and customers, but it's like their profit gets worse the more that they bring on, right? So if we find ourselves in the face of knowing our prices, we've went through, used our pricing calculator, we've accounted for all of our costs that it takes to deliver this at the level, the standard that we want, and you're still not comfortable with raising your prices, your problem is not your prices, it is your positioning. It is your confidence in your perceived value, and it is being able to identify exactly who you want to serve. Because when your clients see the inherent value in your products or service without the constant markdowns, you're not going to have to worry about pricing yourself to be competitive. So shifting over to intentional discounts, what does this look like? So intentional discounts, promotions, sales are planned and they serve a longer term purpose. We have a why behind these that is not rooted in scarcity and fear. And so they're really used to enhance your customers' relationships. It's used to enhance client retention. and to really, at the end of the day, drive profitable growth, right? So instead of devaluing what you have to offer, we want to reinforce the value of doing business with you through intentional discounts. And so I want to give you some insight, like what does it look like to intentionally discount what you have to offer? So loyalty-based discounts, so you're rewarding these repeat customers with exclusive VIP pricing, for instance. Everybody loves to be a VIP. And you're doing this to increase retention and long-term value, and maybe even to create brand ambassadors for you, right? I love a good referral program as well. That's a really great use of intentional discounts, in that, if you give somebody $250 to refer you somebody that is going to pay you $2,000, then I would rather spend that $250 to them. So you essentially discounted what they're getting. I would rather spend $250 on a referral rather than spending $250 on ads and not being absolutely certain that this is going to convert to a high value person, right? And so some other ideas are like high ticket incentives. So encouraging your clients to invest in larger service packages instead of smaller piecemeal stuff. So it's going to lead to more predictable and consistent revenue, and giving them bonuses instead of discounting that high ticket incentive, right? So not only are they going to get more value by getting in a more elite or premium package, service, product, whatever that looks like, you're also going to maybe give them a bonus. Maybe that's going to be like a half VIP day with you, or you're going to give them some kind of opportunity that most other people would have to pay for. Something else would be like limited time offers with a purpose. And so you create urgency around like a launch or a new service without really relying on unnecessary price slashing. And so it's intentionally driving people. It's like, we want to garner awareness around this new thing that we're bringing on. This is very much part of our brand, our beliefs. This is how it's going to add value to what we already do. And we want so many people to experience it that we're going to do this limited time offer, right? That's way different than marking it down because we got to get a bunch of people in the door to pay for this new piece of equipment that we brought on to provide this service to people, right? And the last thing that I thought of was the promotions around slow moving items. If you have inventory on your shelves, so getting that slow moving stuff off your shelves, turning it into cash in the bank, because it's just cash on your shelf if it's not. This again is why we have data driven strategies in here, because if you don't really see the value of your inventory, if we're looking at your financials every month and we realize like, hey, we've had this same stuff forever, like it's going to expire, we're not going to be able to use it. So instead of having to just trash it, why don't we create a promotion around getting this stuff moved? And while these people are in here, they're probably going to buy other stuff anyways, right? This works really well with brick and mortars, where there's actually the ability for the customers or the clients to come into the brick and mortar, right? But you can do this even if they don't. So at the end of the day, your discount should be working for you instead of against you. And so you should be able to clearly make that connection on how it's serving the bigger purpose, right? It should never be a means of survival. It should be a tool for growth. And so when you execute on this correctly, then discounts can become part of your strategy to actually strengthen your brand value and customer retention and financial stability, right? But if discounting strategy is really built on slashing prices so that you can make a sale, you don't have a pricing strategy, you have a problem. And so a few questions to ask yourself before offering a discount is this attracting my ideal client, or am I chasing people? Because if your discounts mainly draw in bargain hunters who want to prioritize pricing over quality, then you really need to reassess your approach. And so how is this going to increase your profitability in the long run? Because your discount should lead to higher customer lifetime value, not just short-term cash flow. Now, I will say that with an asterisk. It depends on where you're at in your business. If you truly are at risk of shutting your doors unless you offer this, then that is a long-term strategy, even though it is designed to give you short-term cash infusion. So that is a circumstance where asking that question can provide you a lot of clarity. And then the third thing is, are you discounting out of strategy or scarcity? Because if fear is driving your decisions, then you really need to reframe your pricing strategy to focus on building value instead of cutting prices. And when I think about value, this is something that this term actually was so confusing to me for so long, because I'm like, what do people mean when they say that? And one of the simplest ways that it helped me to understand this is when talking about value, talking about what is the outcome achieved with this? What is the transformation this person will be able to experience as a result of this product or service. There are features and benefits to it, but that's where a lot of people make mistakes of talking about features and benefits, because they actually don't know how to talk about the transformation that they provide people. And you're just competing on based on what you do. That doesn't connect with anybody. Nobody can see themselves in features and benefits, but they can see themselves in a transformation. And so they're able to make that decision more logically. And when it makes more sense, they're willing to pay for getting that solution, right? And so at the end of the day, scarcity driven discounting is it will offer you short-term relief, but it's going to create that long-term instability. And it goes back to that thought process for me, in that, is this something, if I'm going to get an immediate win off of this, where is this going to cause me long-term pain? Not necessarily always will, but if it's got this immediate short-term win, it may not have long-term pain, but it will not have long-term gain. And so being able to tie your discounting, your promotion, your coupon strategies to a long-term gain is really what you want to be able to do. And because this takes it from discounting reactively to doing it proactively. And you are training your customers and your clients on how to buy from you when you offer them discounts. And especially if the first way they got in the door, if this isn't done strategically, was just to get their money for a cheap deal, they're going to expect that for the rest of the time with when they start having to pay regular prices, they're going to leave and they're going to go somewhere where they can get another discount. And so it really makes it hard to establish real value. You don't even have the opportunity to build relationships with these people. And so when you apply discounts, intentionally, then they can elevate your brand. They don't diminish it, right? They actually can create loyalty and really that sustainable, predictable profitability that we all want, right? So a business built on scarcity discounts at the end of the day is not a business. It's just a struggle. It's a headache. It is a heart attack waiting to happen. And I say that lightly because I know that I know people, unfortunately, that have literally had health issues because of their business. And that's not what we want. And this is one of the simplest ways you can stop that from happening to you. So price with intention, sell with confidence, and you will have predictable profitability. So I hope that helps, fam. If you enjoyed this, or you know that this is really meant for somebody else that in the business world, and share that with that person. I know that this is a really big struggle for a lot of women too. We oftentimes want to make money emotional, and I get it. I have been there. And so that's why I am able to articulate this. I can see this. And so share this with somebody that is maybe having some money scarcity around these things, and understanding that when you are charging people what you are worth, you are providing them more value than you otherwise would. So other than that, let's grow, fam. I'll talk to y'all soon.